Hey folks, it's Egwin here from Beyond Systems. Welcome back to my channel. This time I'm going a little bit further out of the pure movement related topics. Now, while this post is still relating to movement, to how you feel in moving your body and how well you can connect to it, its origin is a little bit shifted towards the more psychological side of things. What am I talking about? Well, simply speaking, some days we just feel a little bit off. And there might be many different reasons for that. Maybe you really are in a very stressful situation. You know exactly what the trigger is. Maybe you had a fight with a loved one. Maybe you had a fight with your boss. Maybe you need to move because landlord of your apartment wants you out or something like that. So some concrete outside stressful impulse. Maybe it's also that you feel that just somehow you're not really doing what you want to do, what you love doing. All of those things, they can potentially create this feeling of being a little bit off. But what about those other things? What about those other feelings that suddenly emerge, where you suddenly feel this slight shift in your mood somewhere throughout the day and you can't really put your finger on it? Now, it's impossible to discuss every single possibility of what causes such feelings, but in most cases it's some sort of outside trigger that most of the time isn't conscious at that beginning or isn't consciously perceived by you at the beginning, but still it triggers something in yourself. Now you might ask, how is this movement related? That's movement related in this case, that your movement is always a sort of indicator of how well aligned with yourself, with your purpose, with your well-being you actually are. So some days when you feel off, when you feel off balance, literally physically off balance, or this imbalance suddenly emerges somewhere throughout your day, this could be an indicator for something having triggered you. It might also be some sort of, okay, now I feel a little bit pain, I feel a little bit sore from last day's training or something like that. Sure, but I'm not talking about those things right now. Right now I'm talking about those trigger aspects. Now, how do they actually work? Imagine this whole thing like this. Something in the outside world triggers you. What does it mean to trigger you? You can imagine it's pretty much like you holding up a glass, you taking a spoon and you hitting the glass. You'll hear a sound. Now, triggering is pretty much the same thing. Something from the outside world, the quote-unquote spoon, hits the glass. You are the glass, something from the outside world hits you. It doesn't miss you, so there is some sort of resonance. There is some sort of connection between you and this outside trigger, whatever it might be. Maybe it's you watching someone who is in a certain mood. Maybe it's you reading a text, you reading a specific email that triggers a specific emotional response in you. It might not even be an acute emotional response. It might be an emotional response that only comes out of something that you experienced maybe days, weeks, months, even years ago. So triggers, they sometimes are tricky. Sometimes they trigger things that lie dormant or have been lying dormant for a long period of time in yourself, and suddenly they sort of re-emerge due to that trigger. Now, still, to understand how this relates to movement, I have to explain what it actually means when something old re-emerges or some sort of automated subconscious response emerges. What happens here is every single thing that happens in our mind, no matter if it's our conscious or our subconscious mind, everything that happens in our consciousness that's related with our physical life actually has sort of a mirror in our physical body. So every single thought we think, every single emotion we feel and perceive actually has a physical component to it. Some of those things we perceive as quite comfortable, which is normally what we refer to as positive emotions. Some of those things make us worried, some of those things bring us out of alignment, or bring us just simply into a state of chaos, into a state of stress, a stress response. When I talk about triggering something that might have been lying dormant for a long time, if emotional states or automated responses are not completely, quote-unquote, healed, then they can be re-triggered. Every single memory you have, you can relive. But reliving a memory literally means that part of your body sort of swings back into the very situation, the very pulsation that you felt in that specific case. So you had a very strong positive experience. With a very strong positive experience, this is something that creates a certain cellular and intercellular reaction in your body, which is something we refer to as a positive emotion. Same goes for something potentially negative, or that you perceive as negative or chaotic. Now the funny thing here is, if something like that gets re-triggered, then it sort of desynchronizes you from the very moment that you are in right now. Normally, our whole physical body, as well as our mind and our emotions, are somewhat synchronized with our surroundings. And when I say synchronized with our surroundings, what I mean is really, out here in the forest, obviously, there is a lot of different pulsations going on. Literally, everything is vibrating, everything is a vibration. Let me try to adjust the camera here so that you have a better picture. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. Everything in our surroundings has its own vibration to it. That's not spiritual, that's actually extremely physically true. Point being, our whole system, our whole physical body normally connects and synchronizes with pulsational aspects in our surroundings. Now, when you relive a memory, or a memory gets triggered, then part of your body syncs with the situation that you had back then. It relives the pulsation that was going on back when you had this specific experience. And that's quite interesting. That's also quite powerful, because it means that your whole body actually slips into a state of your past. This can have effects on your body, on your coordinational ability, on your ability to actually work with strength, with grace, with balance. All of that influences us. Now, where do I want to get with this? Apart from, yes, there are options of sort of jumping back into alignment. Apart from that, what's really important is that when you have a day like that, when you have a day where you just simply feel off, don't immediately go, shit, my body is not doing well, and I don't know, like I'm so bad, I have to train more, or this or that, or I don't know why my joint isn't working properly, I don't know why I hit myself constantly today, I'm just dumb, or something like that. Don't condemn yourself. Every single person I know sometimes lives through triggered states. We are human beings, we are alive, and the state of being alive in itself already states sort of that we adapt to different situations. We are no static beings, we are quite dynamic beings. And that's extremely important to understand here. When you get triggered, when a trigger is the cause of you feeling off balance, of you not feeling well, not feeling strong, maybe feeling a little bit drained of energy or really tired or something like that, don't immediately go, oh, my body is bad, I have to do more of this, I have to do more of that. I don't know, like, really don't get angry with yourself and don't get angry with your body. That's the main message that I'm trying to give you here. It's really important to approach such states in a very gentle and also accepting way sometimes. They pass, that's for sure. And if you have the tools available to actually find out which was the trigger, and then eventually also deal with that trigger, this gives you plenty of additional options to deal with such a situation and even clean out those quote-unquote disturbing memory banks in such a way that next time you come by the same trigger, it doesn't affect you in the same way or doesn't affect you at all in a negative or adverse way. That's what I wanted to share with you today. It's really important to understand that if you want to achieve something with your body, if you want to explore all its possibilities in a positive way, then do so, but also do so in a very gentle and very accepting manner. Your body is always trying to support you and is always trying to support your life as much as literally humanly possible. Sometimes when outside influences emerge and they trigger you, literally there is almost nothing that can be done about it apart from recognizing it as what it is and then letting go of it and then literally working your way back into alignment. I'll talk about how to do that in one of the next videos, or one of many options to actually do that. Until then, have a wonderful time. If you have questions, please leave them in the comment box down below. And remember, everything that I just talked about, there's very little spiritual about that. You can coin that spiritual if you want to, but it's basic human function, basic human neurology, physiology, pulsation, physics. And yes, those things sometimes have to do with spirituality, with personal development. It's always just a definition of the word. The thing that's actually going on is very close to what we call real life, to physical experience, to living, very down to earth. It's always something that just needs sort of the right perspective to be looked at in a very helpful rather than a, oh, well, okay, is this just mind or what is this? So that's how to approach such things. I wish you all the best. Have a wonderful time. See you soon. If you have questions, leave them in the comment box below. If you liked the video, like, share and subscribe. And all the best. See you soon. Bye guys. Thank you for watching.